But this person right here, in my opinion, his absence of being on the top 75 list nearly invalidated that list in its entirety. This person is, of course, the 43rd best player of the last 50 years in the NBA, Dwight Howard.
Number 43, Dwight Howard.
The fact that he was not included on the top 75 list made that more about popularity than about credibility. Dwight Howard, let's go over his resume. 5-time, we're going to go slow on this, by the way. 5-time All-NBA first team. For context, that is more than Dirk Nowitzki, Chris Paul, Kevin Garnett, or as of this moment, Steph Curry. None of those guys have as many first teams as Dwight Howard. He is a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Apex Dwight in Orlando was so far and away the best defensive player in the league, there was not even a debate or a discussion about it. Career, top 15 all-time in rebounds and blocks. And now I want to talk about the MVPs. Because yes, he's 5-time first-team All-NBA, plus 1-time second team, 2-time third team. But the MVP part of it is really the biggest part of his case. There's a 5-year stretch where he was a consensus top 5 player. You saw it right there. He finished second in MVP voting once, and he finished top 5 3 other times. So he has 4 top 5 MVP finishes. And when he was at his apex, we will go to the postseason. He was the best player on a finalist. A finalist, by the way, that if not for the Courtney Lee missed putback, maybe takes that Lakers series not only to 7, maybe they win it. But how did peak Dwight before his back gave out, before he had real issues? And again, some of this is his own doing because his game never matured, and some would argue he never matured. I understand that. But you can't hold the potential against him when what he realized was so great. Peak Dwight not only beat LeBron in a series, but the series that the Magic beat the Cavs, LeBron in that series averaged 39, 8, and 8. It might be the single best series LeBron's ever played, one could argue. And Dwight beat him in 6 with Jameer Nelson, Hedo Turkoglu, and Rashard Lewis as his key contributors. Dwight in that series averaged a humble 26 and 13. And in the deciding game 6, to go to Dwight's first career NBA Finals, he put up a 40 and 14. 40 and 14 to send LeBron home to go to the finals. And then they lost in 6 to Kobe, obviously. So then, was Dwight's career over there? No, everyone kills him for the Lakers year, even though that was one of the, 5 years he led the NBA in rebounding. His first year in Houston, you guys remember the playoff series. That was Dame's first career walk-off. The Dame where he waves goodbye to everybody and he beats Houston in round 1. In that series, Dwight averaged 26 and 14 with 3 blocks for a series that his team loses in 6. In the playoffs, from 2008 to 2015. So the entirety of his prime and then a couple years after his prime, he was 20 and 14 in the playoffs. And by the way, he's now a champion. Now, was he a huge part of that Lakers title team? No. But was he getting minutes? Was he valuable? You bet your ass he was. His not being included in the top 75 is ridiculous. And before we get to our caller, I want to ask Demonze a quick question. You don't do a ton on these shows, but it's good. I'm glad you're here.
I'm here.
Do you feel like Dwight is viewed by a lot of people, particularly your age or younger, as more of a joke or more of an all-timer?
I'd say it's pretty mixed, but I'm probably going to err on the side of a joke.
Yeah, I think so. I think that you don't have a lot of recollection of when Dwight was dominating the league. You remember the images of the slam dunk contest and then the bad Stan Van Gundy press conference. He was an absolutely, all parties agreed, top 5 guy in the league for a 5-year stretch. Top 3 guy in the league for a 2-year stretch. For him to be not included in the top 75 list was outrageous. I think we have a caller that is going to comment on Dwight Howard. I want to hear it.
Question for you, Nick. If you took Moses Malone's accomplishments and Dwight Howard's and you made it a blind resume test, how would you be able to tell the two apart? Just curious.
Okay. All right. So Rick is actually going a step further than I would go. Rick is saying he and Dwight Howard and Moses Malone have similar resumes. They flatly do not. Now I have to give Dwight all that praise. I now have to bring realities. Moses Malone, you're going to see him on this list. He's not just a top 30 guy. He's not just a top 25 guy. He's not just a top 20 guy. He's not just a top 15 guy of the last 50 years. Dwight has 4 MVP top 5s. Moses has 3 actual MVPs. Dwight was the best player on a finalist. Moses was finals MVP on arguably the greatest team to ever play, the 83 Sixers. So, listen, I think I made it pretty clear I'm a big Dwight Howard supporter. But let's not go crazy and acting like he and Moses Malone have the same resume. They do not. Moses Malone and his fellow Sixer teammate Julius Erving are probably 2 of the most disrespected players in NBA history. We'll get to them in a few months on this list. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.